Lately, we've been diving deep into the story of Black Ops 6. We've been getting a ton of trailers, teasers, and everything in between. We talked about the return of Frank Woods, Russell Adler, and why he went rogue, and we also did some speculation on whether or not Raul Menendez would return. This video is very similar to that one. However, this time not with Raul Menendez, but another villain that we've seen in the Black Ops universe, that of course being Perseus. Now, Perseus is a little bit more confusing than Raul Menendez, because Raul Menendez is one person. Perseus is not. And I guess before I kind of answer the question whether or not we think Perseus is going to return in Black Ops 6, I should probably give you a bit of a better explanation as to who or what Perseus actually is. So Perseus was introduced in Black Ops Cold War, and he was introduced as a secret agent that was hidden within the CIA who we would have to hunt down and stop. Specifically, this would be a Russian agent, and it was rumored that this person infiltrated a bunch of different things within the CIA, including the Manhattan Project, which is of course the creation of nuclear bombs. So throughout Black Ops Cold War, we hunted down Perseus and used Bell, an Russian agent who we then brainwashed with MK Ultra to figure out who Perseus was and track him down. However, by the very end of the campaign, we end up seemingly taking out Perseus, but Perseus had this to say.
And to think, after all this time, they still believe I'm Perseus. As if Perseus could ever be an individual working alone. So American. We'll need a new home now. The Central Committee will be more surprised than the CIA.
So in the canon ending, you actually end up taking out this version of Perseus, but we learned that Perseus is an ideal, not an individual person. So later on, after the campaign was over and in the various seasons of Black Ops Cold War, we got introduced to the new Perseus, who is none other than Stitch. And throughout this story, he is basically taking in Adler and kind of enacting his plan to brainwash the world with the numbers sequence, so on and so forth. Eventually ends up brainwashing Adler, but Adler breaks through it, and by the very end, this is the conversation, a very important conversation at that he has between him and Russell Adler.
Tell me where Perseus is. You never understood. Perseus was never one man. It's an ideal. Bigger than any of us.
Oh, spare me your horse shit. Where the fuck is Perseus?
Right here. Cancer took him in '83. No. A great man with great vision. He was not the first Perseus, just as I will not be the last.
You're coming with me. There's blood on your hands.
Big words from the Scourge of Verdansk.
Fuck you. I wasn't in my right mind. You saw to that.
You Westerners. So squeamish. Look at where we are. This was the Eastern Front. The blood of millions of my people so deep into this soil. Men and women who paid the ultimate price for what had to be done.
You're a fucking monster. I should kill you for what you've done. For what you did to me.
My life no longer matters. Do what you will. Finish what you started on Rebirth Island. My broadcast was complete. I have changed the world, Adler. In ways you can't even imagine.
So Adler seemingly eliminates Stitch and therefore eliminating Perseus, right? Well, wrong. Just like Stitch said in that cutscene, we see that the ideal of Perseus will live on. So to understand if Perseus is going to be in Black Ops 6, we have to look at what is going on with Russia at the time of Black Ops 6, and that would be the year 1991. And essentially what was going on at this time is the Soviet Union was completely dissolving. And by December 26th, 1991, by declaration, Soviet Republic was no longer. Now, because of this, the Soviet Union was completely distracted with their own business at the time, which meant for the most part, they kept their nose out of what was going on in Iran, Iraq, and all of those places over there. So in other words, they really weren't involved very much within the Gulf War. But that doesn't mean there's a couple of characters that weren't affected by this. Now, as far as characters who could potentially be the new Perseus, the first one that I wanted to look at was one of Imran Zakhaev, one that was introduced in Black Ops Cold War, and of course, we know from the Modern Warfare franchise. However, there's a major problem when it comes to Zakhaev. Yes, he's a big-time Soviet Union loyalist. However, he doesn't agree with Perseus's ideals. We find this out through the intel that was given on Verdansk during Warzone. He did not agree at all with what Perseus was doing, and in fact wanted to shut down all of the missile silos on the map of Verdansk. So, needless to say, Imran Zakhaev is definitely not Perseus. It wouldn't make any sense. The second one that was once again in that same KGB mission within Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is Kravchenko. Now, Kravchenko is matching for what Perseus believes in and doesn't fear to go past that line that Imran Zakhaev does. So he could potentially be a candidate for this. However, there is one big problem. In Black Ops 2, this happens to Kravchenko.
He's more powerful than you know. He even has people in the CIA.
Bullshit! This guy's fucking with us.
So if I'm being completely honest with you, as of the characters that we know of as of now, there isn't really a good match for a Russian character to become the new Perseus, unless they bring in a brand new character like they did with Stitch to kind of fill that role, which is completely possible. However, I wanted to give you one more aspect. Remember how we were talking about the fall of the Soviet Union? One of the big stories regarding the fall of the Soviet Union is the fact that at this time, there was someone who was so upset with the fall of the Soviet Union and so disappointed with themselves because they were a higher up in the military and in the government that they actually hung themselves. That person was Vladimir Makarov's father. And because he saw this and saw the falters of the Soviet Union, he wanted to rebuild it, building the ultra-nationalist party. The fall of the Soviet Union, which starts in 1991, is the beginning of the villain arc for Vladimir Makarov. So, yeah, there might not be a Perseus within Black Ops 6, but what they could do is very well build up the idea that the next Perseus may actually be Makarov. So that's what we know for Perseus in Black Ops 6. If you have any other theories, feel free to let me know down in the comments. If you enjoy these type of story videos, be sure to hit that like button. And if you want to stay up to date on everything Black Ops 6 and Call of Duty, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace.
We are